What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional with Trust in Jesus Ministries. Glad you're here. Glad you're listening, whether it's morning, noon, or night. Man, we are reading through the scriptures daily, trying to open our minds to understand who God is, who we are, and then how we can apply these truths to our lives, man. So it's been good. We've been going through the story of Joseph so far, and we're in Genesis chapter 44, 17 through 34. So if you haven't read it yet, go ahead, stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say. And then, come back and we'll answer the 4 questions. If you've already read it, we're going to dive deep into this story here, into this part of the saga, which is the Joseph saga. So what's going on in chapter 44, 17 through 34? Well, earlier we've got where the brothers come back and then they throw themselves before Joseph and they say that they're going to all go to jail. And Joseph replies. That's where we're at. We're at the reply of Joseph. And then we're at the extended words of Judah here. So Joseph says, man, I can't do that, man. He's like, far be it from me, or may it be an abomination to me for me to put all you guys in jail. He's like, I'm just going to put the one who had the chalice in his hand in jail. And then Judah speaks up. And we saw last time Judah became the prominence of the story. It said Judah and his brothers. And so Judah is about to speak and offer himself behalf of Benjamin. He says, man, I can't do that. And he begins to retell the story of, I guess not the story. I guess he actually just tells Joseph what he said to him. And then whenever he told what Joseph said to him, to his father, then what his father said back to them, and then what his father wanted them to do as they go back. So he's like, man, he's like, you told us we had to bring our brother. We couldn't bring our brother. But, and that if we didn't bring our brother, we couldn't come back before you. We told our father that. He was like, don't bring your brother. And then after that, he was like, we need some more food. He's like, well, we got to bring our brother. You remember that? And he's like, well, I guess I'll have to let you have your brother. But if you do, then my soul, and if he finds harm, my soul will go to Sheol in great sorrow. And then Judah was like, nah, I'll make sure that he stands before you. I'll bring him back so he doesn't get messed up. And he's like, and this great evil will happen. And then he's like, so we brought him up, and then now this has happened. And so if I don't bring my brother back, then my father is going to die in distress. And he's like, I can't bear that on my soul. You know what I mean? And so he told all of these things to Joseph that he went before him. He said, I would trade myself, throw me in jail, and let my brother go back with his brothers so that my father can see him. Judah will give himself up for Benjamin. He will take slavery for the rest of his life for Benjamin. So what is this saying about God? I think it's saying that God brings about changes in people. Man, Judah's gone through a lot of stuff, seen a lot of stuff, done a lot of stuff. We had that little excursus on Judah with him and his daughter-in-law, and that has brought about some change in him, that she was found more righteous than him. And then after having that, I guess, that epiphany or that change, some things have probably been brewing in him, especially in this Joseph saga that we've been seeing, of these repeated things that Joseph has been doing to test his brothers, and that they are recognizing as God bringing upon them the wages of their sin. The thing in which they did was the one thing that they wanted to hide and never recall, because it broke their father's heart. But then it was such an evil thing to do, is to sell their brother into slavery. And so all of these things that have been accumulating over time, building up over time, has been changing these brothers, especially Judah, as he says he wants to stand in the gap. And I think, like I said, especially Judah, because Reuben, he would not give of himself, but would give his children, man, which is kind of tough. But Judah, he said he would give of himself because he wanted to stand in the gap and make right what only he felt like make right. And so it is a change in their heart. And it's also a change of the other brother's heart, as they all went up together to back to Egypt to stand before Joseph and give of themselves to save their brother Benjamin. So God has been bringing about change in people. And so think about that, man. A little application, I guess. If you see somebody whom you think that can't change, be praying for them. Man, I watched this video and he talked about different ways to talk about prayer. He says, I'm about to throw them folded hands at Satan, man. I have to put the guy's name in so I give him credit. But that's funny, man. But what you got to do is you got to throw them folded hands at Satan, man, because that's what's needed in order for this person to change. Prayer changes people, or God changes people through prayer. There's a saying as well that says that some of us are only living by the prayers of our mothers. And so because of prayer, people can change. God can change people. What's this saying about man? Is, man, we should honor our oaths. That's one reason that Judah is doing such a thing. Now, the reason he gave that oath was because of the change of his heart, but he did give an oath and he would not stand against it. He would do anything he could. He was determined to make sure that he was able to bring Benjamin, or present Benjamin before his father again, if he was there or not. If it cost him himself, then he would give up himself so that his father could see Benjamin again. We should honor our oaths. And in the same way, if we're honoring our oaths, it means that don't make oaths hastily. This is just a little side thing that I wanted to add on, because Jesus says, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. Don't pull yourself in all directions where you can't do the things that you said you would do. So in order for us to honor our oath, sometimes we got to say no. But then the next thing is stand in the gap for others, man. This is what Judah has done, and this is what God has done for us. Judah, in a way, is a picture of what Jesus has done on the cross as he stands in the gap for the sins of Benjamin. Even though Benjamin didn't actually commit this crime, Judah is going to go to slavery in his place. And that's what Christ has done for us. He has stood in the gap. And so we should stand in the gap for others. If you know somebody that needs help, or maybe needs a hand, or maybe needs a word of encouragement or something, stand in the gap. Be there for that person. That's what God has called us to do as Christians. So how can we apply these truths to our lives? How can we take what we've learned from this about God, that he can change people, that he can wrought about a change in the most despicable of men, and that we ourselves should stand in the gap? Well, I think this is what we should say about it, is that we should be standing in the gap for people whom we think are less desirable. We should be standing in the gap for those who we think don't deserve this gap standing. We should be standing in the gap for people whom God dearly loves and wants to save. I was talking at this event that I had done, and one of the guys asked why God hasn't busted up Satan's head already, man. And the thing is, I told him in 2 Peter that it says that patience is what God has, so that he might see everyone saved, because that's his desire. And so I think that even people whom we despise, we should stand in the gap for, because this is the person, that is the person that Jesus has died for. That is the person in whom God gave his life so that he might save and be a part of the kingdom. So stand in the gap. Hey, I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.